Okay, everybody. Welcome to my first podcast, XNN News Podcast. So, if you guys don't know what XNN stands for, um, I'll tell you how I created the name. So, originally, it was just supposed to be sports reporting news. It was a pretty interesting name for sports reporting news. I created sports reporting news because I couldn't figure any other names, and plus every time I try to use any other name, it would just say that I couldn't use it. So it was pretty annoying, to be honest. But I just use here. I'm gonna turn on my music because it's kind of distracting. So sports reporting news to me was just like a cool thing that I thought of. Um, excuse me. So basically, I thought of sports reporting news because I thought it was just a cool name, and I was just like, yeah, I should I should probably use sports reporting news. But um, yeah, it was a pretty weird name at first, and I thought it was just kind of like a cool thing to use. I thought it was like something new, and like everyone's gonna be like, wow, okay, that's a pretty cool name. But as I soon progressed, I realized I needed a new name. Not just sports reporting news, because if I would have just used that, then it would have sounded weird in a way. Like it would have sound, like stolen or something like that, or it just doesn't sound like a good news reporting thing. Sorry, my mic is glitching the hell out. But I thought it was a pretty cool name at first, and I kind of just made it up by myself. Like if you go into my old posts, like from probably let's see, oh, I just dropped something. Let's see. And let me find one. So the first post I used it on that I used it on this July 21st, 2019. It was a report about younger brother of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kostas Antetokounmpo is being signed by the Los Angeles Lakers. That was all the way in July. And I had the little at sports reporting news under the picture and everything else. Uh, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like a pretty weird name, but at the same time, I think it will do for now. Well, I was wrong because it wasn't as big, and I'm still not as big as I'd hope I be. Like from here, let's see, the day I created this account was July 20th. So July 20th, I was just thinking, hopefully, by next year, my account will be bigger. And it has progressed in its own little ways. Like at first I had like 70 followers, because I had an old account on there and it was just, I wasn't using it. Like I wasn't using it at all. I don't even remember what I was using this account for before everything. I think I was using it. What was it? Um, I think I created this account. I didn't use it before the NFL thing, but I know I was thinking of. Oh no, that's what it was. I made a football card thing. I made a football card Instagram account, and I was like, I'm gonna use this all the time. I'm just gonna take pictures of my football cards, and I'm gonna put prices on them. Well, that never went far. I did that for probably about 5 days. Didn't do it anymore. Gave up on it. Um, then I think a couple days later, I just decided, here, I'm going to do an NFL news type thing, and I'm just going to report news. And then I was like, actually, you know what? I'm going to do NBA news too. So then I just created the name Sports Reporting News. And once I set off of that, I created the little lineup predictions for NBA teams, and my first one was the Lakers, and I got 105 likes on it. And I remember that day I was so excited, and I was like, I can't wait to just like do this stuff every single day, and just have fun with it. Um, what was it? And then from there I just kind of went on with the lineup predictions, and it went well. I think about every single one of them had 50 or more likes, I think, if I'm just going back through all of them. The way my layout was, it was just different, especially from what it looks like now. It's a little bit different. Like the picture's in the bottom left corner, and it's a little bit bigger, and the breaking news is in the top left corner. But I think the only big lineup prediction that I had was probably I think it was the Thunder. When I had the Thunder one, I think it got about almost 1,000 likes. Um, was it? No, was it the Thunder or was it the Rockets that I did? I'm looking right now. Oh, it was the Rockets. I had 735 likes. That's not even close to 1,000. And I like what I said too. I said honestly, the Rockets lineup looks really nice, but the only problem is that both James Harden and Russell Westbrook can both be ball hogs. I mean, I was kind of right about that, but at the same time, they're doing really good. But even though the whole NBA is shut down right now and everything, which sucks, I think they would have progressed really well, and they had been over the course of the season. But then the whole NBA got shut down. I think they would have had a good run in the playoffs. But anyways, I started up this podcast. I just decided to because I realized like maybe I should just get a podcast. Maybe it'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna try to do some live things. I know this video won't get as many views as I'd hope it will, and I'm perfectly fine with that because this video is just basically me explaining. And maybe hopefully once I blow up in the future, I hope I blow up in the future. Like I hope my channel does grow, and hopefully my Instagram account grows well. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. That's fine. I don't mind having 100 followers. I don't mind because at least I have somewhat of a little bit of an audience. It's something like, oh my gosh, I want like 20 million followers so bad. I want to get there. So I know this whole thing comes with patience, and I'm down for that. I'm very down with having 106 followers right now and 463 posts. Like I have no issues with that because I know over a span of time I'm gonna have to grow. I just need that little push, in the right direction. And I think I'll be fine with just with just getting more than 106 followers. Like I'd be fine with 1,000. I think once I think just once I surpass 200 followers, like even if I had 90 followers right now, I'd still be like, okay, I'm still doing my thing. Like I'm not gonna give up. And I'm not saying that just because I have 106 followers doesn't mean I'm going to give up. Obviously not. I'm going to keep doing my thing, but I just need that. I just need a little push. Once I do that, like all day today I've been reporting news. Like they haven't been getting more than 10 likes, and that kind of hurts. It kind of sucks, but at least I'm just sitting here. I'm like, you know what? You're doing good. Like even though it might not be as many likes as you would hope for, it's still something. It's not like it's not like no one's liking my post. Like I get like 3 likes, it's what so be, it's better than having 0. Like sometimes I have to like my own post so it doesn't get 0, but it's fine. It doesn't, cuz hopefully one day I'll look in the past and I'll be like, damn, I remember like back then, when my news account wasn't getting that many likes. I was kind of upset. But then you also have to realize, like, you got to realize the struggle too, because if you don't realize the struggle, then you won't humble yourself. You're just gonna sit there and you're like, oh yeah, I'm the best. No, that's not how it works. But I originally started the podcast today because I just realized, like, maybe it's gonna be cool to just talk about football for once. I hate going to school. Like, I can't go to school anymore because of the whole coronavirus thing, which I think is really dumb. But for me, I like talking about football. I might not talk about basketball a lot, and there's certain reasons for that. But football for me is just, it's a whole different topic. Like, for me, football, I've always grown up around football, and I live in a football family. Like, we like basketball too, but we love football. Like, I always push for football no matter what. Like, I always like, I'm just going to go out and say I'm a Denver Bronco fan, so once I hear news about Denver Broncos, I'm always on it. I'm always like telling my family about it because they're all Denver Broncos fans too. So I always have to tell someone something about the Denver Broncos. If it's not related to the Denver Broncos, then I'm always telling them something about trades happening. Like, I'm always on it. I'm always on it, and I just don't forget. I'll So I was gonna talk. So the first topic I wanted to talk about was free agency. Free agency right now is pretty insane. I'm not even gonna lie. Free agency so far has had some of the most surprising things I've seen in a while. I mean, honestly, this free agency I thought it was gonna be a little less bigger, I thought people were gonna get signed to the most obvious places. I thought Byron Jones. I thought he was gonna go to the Eagles because everyone was talking about it. Everyone's like, oh, Byron Jones is gonna go to the Eagles. Byron Jones this, Byron Jones that, and always talking about Eagles, or he was gonna get re-signed. I didn't think the Cowboys were gonna re-sign Byron Jones, and the only reason why I think that is because I feel like the Cowboys were definitely making room for Amari, and they most definitely did. They gave him a 5-year, $100 million contract, and I think that was somewhat of a perfect deal. But at the same time, I think they gave him a lot of money. And the thing with giving people a lot of money is that sometimes if I cuss sometimes, don't mind it, who cares? I think sometimes when they do this, when they give these players big contracts, I think they kind of fuck up. Because honestly, in my opinion, if you give someone big money, then sometimes they're just not going to realize how much money that is, and sometimes they won't play up to the full extent that you think they are. For example, who was it? Nick Foles, last season. I think they gave him about a $70 million deal or something, like $72 million deal or something like that. I can't really put my finger on it, but I know it was around 70 million, around there. And he did miserable. He played one game in week 1. Got injured, got taken out. Gardner Minshew had to come in for almost half the season. Finally, Nick Foles comes back. He does terrible again. He's thrown interceptions. They're like, okay, sorry, Nick, but we got to put in Gardner again. He's like Gardner Minshew. They even called him Minshew Mania. Like this kid literally came in and killed everything. He did great, but honestly, with Nick Foles, I think the Jaguars just release him. I'll get to that here in a minute. But honestly, with Amari Cooper, I think Amari Cooper definitely is probably one of the top wide receivers. And I think when he was with the Oakland Raiders, who are now the Las Vegas Raiders, but with the Oakland Raiders, I think he hadn't reached his full potential. And I think everyone else that knows football can agree with me on that. Only because just because Derek Carr didn't really target him a lot. Amari Cooper did get hurt from time to time. And then once they traded him to the Cowboys, everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? This guy is, everyone already knew Amari Cooper. He was really good. He was very touchdown dependent either way in the Raiders. But once he came to the Cowboys, everything just switched up. Everyone's like, wow, okay, so now we know who Amari Cooper is. My God, this kid can catch a ball and score some touchdowns. So I think that was a very good pickup for the Cowboys, even though it was a lot of money. Especially since they should have given at least, I think they should have gave Dak Prescott somewhat of a contract. They franchise tagged him. I think he has a lot of potential. And I think he's some people are going to disagree with me on this, but I think he's very underrated. People don't give him the, how do you say it? The benefit of the doubt. And the only reason why I say that is because he has been pretty good. I understand he hasn't been playoff good, you know what I mean? He's not always there. But I feel like if they just give him a little bit of one more chance, I understand he's been in for the league, I think for about 4 seasons. Excuse me. I think he's been in the league for about 4 seasons. I think they just give him one more chance, and I'm glad they franchise tagged him because I feel like the Cowboys are just kind of telling him, dude, you're kind of on the edge right now. I understand you did pretty good last season. You gotta keep it up, and maybe that contract will come in the future. And I'm most certain that if Dak Prescott does good this season, he's gonna get the contract that he's been waiting for, and I think that's a good thing for him, obviously. Now, I was gonna go over the top 5 free agents. Who were Dak Prescott, he just got franchise tag. Chris Jones was number 2, he just got franchised. Amari Cooper, $100 million deal. Drew Brees. This is interesting because they are actually negotiating with Drew Brees right now. The Saints are. The Saints are negotiating with Drew Brees. And Drew Brees even said he will take a pay cut. So I think the Saints are gonna give him a small deal, and I wouldn't doubt that, because if I'm the Saints, if he wants a small deal, then I'm like, okay, I'll give him a small deal, because like he's not Tom Brady. No offense to Tom, obviously he's very good and he's a GOAT and whatever, and he's a Super Bowl champion and he's insanely awesome, but Drew Brees is different. He's a different type of quarterback. I understand he's won a Super Bowl, but he's mentally he's a different player. He's smart. He's like, if you give me a small contract, then we have more room for other players. Tom Brady's like, give me a $30 million deal and I'll throw a ball for you. That's basically what he's saying. Like, no offense, just saying. Tom Brady just wants the money right now, and I'm sorry to say that. He just wants the money. He basically asked for 30 mil. Patriots are like, dude, we can't pay you that much. Like, sorry. Tom Brady's like, okay, then I'll go look for other teams. Like, right now, Tom is still looking for another team, and I think he's just looking for the next destination. I don't think he's going to stay with New England. I'm sorry. All the people that are going to say, oh, he's going to stay with New England. No, he's not. Bill Belichick is already looking for a new quarterback. It might not be in the media. I know that's for sure. Bill Belichick is looking for a new quarterback right now, and I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, my phone just all of a sudden got a notification saying that Bill Belichick and the Patriots just traded for Andy Dalton. I feel like Bill Belichick, if I'm him, I let Tom Brady go. I let him go off into free agency, and then I sign Teddy Bridgewater if I can. If the Bears don't pick him up by tomorrow, I'm signing Teddy Bridgewater on my team, or I'm trading for Andy Dalton, because the Bengals. I understand the Bengals might want to keep Andy Dalton, and I think I know why. It's just to have that veteran backup, just to look out for Joe Burrow. But I don't think Andy Dalton wants to be a backup. Andy Dalton wants to be a starter, and I know that's for sure. I don't know how old Andy Dalton is exactly. Let me see. My mic is tweaking right now. I don't think it's my mic. I think it's just... Okay, there we go. He's 32. He is 32 years old. He's definitely looking to be a starter. Most definitely. He's only 32 years old. He still has... Logically speaking, quarterbacks are playing about till they're 40 years old. Andy Dalton has probably 8 years to play. That is perfect. All these people are signing 3-year deal contracts. Someone just signed him to a 3-year deal, and he's perfectly chilling. Or if they trade him, or if the Bengals trade him away, there you go. There's your 3-year contract. Andy Dalton comes in. And Bill Belichick and other Patriots players have even said that they think Andy Dalton could be the next big thing. I understand he's 32, but next big thing, like, he could be in his prime right now. Like, I understand 32 years old, you're getting older, you're getting up there in age, but I don't see the whole prime thing. I mean the Patriots, they can prove me wrong. They took Tom Brady. I mean, the dude I think was a 5th round pick, and he's already won 6 Super Bowls. So I mean, there you go. I mean, dude, there's not really much to say. I mean, if they really do get Andy Dalton, logically speaking, and they turn him into a Super Bowl champ, I'm actually going to be like, what is going on? Like, it's still insane to me to think that Tom Brady's 42 years old and he wants to play. Like, it's insane to think that this dude wants to play still at 42. 42 years old, and this dude still wants to play as a quarterback. That's pretty insane. There's not going to be a whole lot of another 42-year-olds, except for Drew Brees. I think he's 41. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Brees possibly wins the Super Bowl. But the Saints, man, they can't get away from the playoff losses and the unluckiness. It sucks, because Kyle Rudolph definitely pushed off on that play. I'm sorry to say it, Vikings fans. You guys didn't go to the Super Bowl anyways. But neither did my Broncos, so I can't talk shit. But Kyle Rudolph most definitely pushed off. I am so sorry. Kyle Rudolph most definitely pushed off, dude. You could have seen that from a mile away. I don't know how the refs didn't see that, but it's whatever. I think the Saints, man, These poor guys, man, they deserve to go to a Super Bowl. They've had the best team, I think, in the last 3 years. They've been so outstanding. They had Janoris Jenkins and DJ Swearinger on their team as well this year. They picked them up late. I mean, I understand those guys are older now and they're not big playmakers, but they're still helpful. If I'm the Saints, I want to go for a cornerback if I'm the Saints to pair up with Eli Apple and Marshawn Lattimore. I don't think Janoris Jenkins is the answer, to be honest. I understand he's good, but I don't think Janoris is one of the top players for the Saints right now. I don't think they should look forward to having him still. Or DJ Swearinger. I think they get rid of him too if I was them, just to free up some space, but that's totally their idea. And then 6 through 10 free agency targets was number 6 was Tom Brady. I don't think Tom Brady has an option at this point. All he has is the Buccaneers. The Raiders just signed Marcus Mariota. The Bears are possibly going to be signing Teddy Bridgewater. Ryan Tannehill just got re-signed with the Titans yesterday. There's no other places for Tom. And the Browns just signed Case Keenum. Holy shit. If you thought the Browns were going to possibly be an ideal choice for Tom, no, dude. That's not even going to happen. The Broncos don't want him. I'm thinking the Buccaneers are probably the only last destination for him to go to. I know the Dolphins, they could be an option, but I think they want to draft a quarterback, to be honest. I think they want their franchise quarterback. And it's insane to think that the Raiders kind of just skipped out on having Tom Brady. But I think a dumb decision for the Raiders to do is if this were to really happen, I'd throw up in my mouth if this really did happen. If they were to sign Tom Brady, logically speaking, you have Marcus Mariota, Derek Carr, and Tom Brady. What's the whole point of that? If they were to sign Tom Brady, I would be actually confused with that franchise. I'd be wondering why. What went through the owner's mind or the John Gruden's mind that basically just said, you know what, let's sign a third quarterback. That would be such a dumb decision to do. And I hope they don't draft a quarterback either, because if they draft a quarterback, that kind of just gets thrown in the garbage right away. But I think they will, but I think it will be later on in the draft. Probably about like 4th or 5th round, to be honest, but I don't know. They just tendered Nathan Peterman. They're probably going to release Mike Glennon, to be honest. And then you have Chris Harris at number 7. Chris Harris? Oh. That's a tough one because everyone is looking for Chris to be on their team. Not everyone, excuse me. Just, you know what I mean. Just certain people, certain teams in general. Chris Harris. Chris. We all know he's not signing back with my team, Denver. We all know that. He even said that was off the table himself. So that means either way, he would just throw away the contract that we would negotiate with him. I think the main choices for Chris are probably the Chiefs, Raiders, or the Eagles. And honestly, in my opinion, I think if I'm Chris Harris and one of those 3 teams gave me a choice, I would probably go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a great team, to be honest. I think they have Super Bowl chances again, but they need wide receivers, and everyone knows this. Everyone knows that they need wide receivers. If I'm the Eagles, I'm trading players or I'm signing a lot of wide receivers. They had like their 4th and 5th string wide receivers heading out there to play. And then I think one of the other dumb decisions was they got rid of Mac Hollins when that whole wide receiver depth thing was going on. They had to put in Greg Ward, and Greg Ward tried his hardest. He played his heart out, and I think he did really well for where he was put at on the depth chart. So I think if I'm the Eagles, I'm keeping him just in the like the 4th or 5th position, just in case again if that happens. But I don't think that if I'm the Eagles, I'm getting rid of Alshon. I'm sorry. Alshon, he's good, but he's not good like everyone thinks he is. He's not as good as he used to be. I'm sorry. If he was with the Bears still, I think maybe okay. Him and Allen Robinson, blah, 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 blah. They're chilling. But With the Eagles, I just don't see it. I don't see it. Like, I understand they won a Super Bowl and whatever, but I just don't see Alshon being on that team anymore. It doesn't fit anymore. I know the Eagles want a very young team, and Alshon is not young, you know what I mean? Like, he's not someone you can build a franchise around right now because I think he's in his 30s, and that means he only has a limited amount of time to play it. Like, I understand he's like if he's like 34 or 35, he still got years to play. So you can keep that veteran player on your team. But like, I just don't think Alshon Plus is an injury prone. He is very injury prone. That dude is always hurt. I barely even got to see him play. It sucks. But if I'm the Eagles, you obviously keep Nelson Aguilar in free agency. Make sure he's not coming in. Take him out. Get him the hell out of there. Like, don't keep him in, man. Don't keep him in. Like, don't put him back on the team. So, yeah. If I'm them, I'm getting rid of Nelson, and I might trade Alshon. Maybe, who knows? Either release him or trade him. But if I'm them, I'm releasing him. Sign 2 new wide receivers because you got Deshaun Jackson coming back next season. If he's healthy, hopefully he is, because he's somewhat of an injury prone too. But when he's not injury prone, that dude can light up a field. He proved it in the first 2 weeks, man. Him and Carson Wentz just kind of just worked out really well. And I'm sorry, but the Eagles, man, I don't know if they need a new quarterback or not. Carson Wentz is so injury prone. And I don't mean throughout the regular season. In regular season, that dude can play. But I'm just saying, playoffs, like, I don't know, dude. That's tough because they had to put in Josh McCown. They had to put in another backup again. They had Nick Foles coming back last season. I mean, like last season. And if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm like, why are we having, like, if Carson Wentz is going to get this hurt in the playoffs, let's just sign another good quarterback for like $40 million, like what the Browns did. They just signed Case Keenum for 3 years for $18 million. Hell, go sign him. Like, why not go sign someone else who could be a very good backup, especially since Carson Wentz is getting hurt so damn much? Why not just go sign another backup? Carson Wentz can't play in the playoffs. This dude has already proven it so many times. I think it was about 3 seasons now that he can't play in the playoffs. And if he does, he chokes up somehow. Like, well, actually, excuse that. No, he doesn't choke up because he was actually doing really well against the Seahawks, and then he just got hurt. But I don't know. If I'm the Eagles, I'm signing a good backup quarterback, and if I'm looking for a good backup quarterback, let's see. There's only good backup quarterbacks out there right now, or Teddy Bridgewater. He's gonna get signed 100%. I think I don't know, dude. There's no good backup quarterbacks out there. That's tough. Or you just draft one if they want it, but I wouldn't, to be honest. Or they could get Jordan Love depending on if he is gone in the first round. But I don't know. They need wide receivers 100%. So I think and they need defensive players as well. So, and back on that topic, I think they signed Chris Harris, and I'm thinking if I'm Chris Harris, I'm going with the Eagles. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Jadeveon Clowney for number 8. Ooh. I know this for a fact. Jadeveon Clowney has been looking at New York teams. He's already looking for New York Jets, and he's already looking at the New York Giants. Now, if I'm the New York Giants, that is probably a good sign. The only reason why, if I sign Jadeveon Clowney, not only do I have Leonard Williams, but now and also B.J. Hill. He's not that good, but he's still there. He's still doing his thing. But so you have Leonard Williams, B.J. Hill, and then you also get Jadeveon Clowney. That is actually not bad for a defensive line. Defensively, like if you look at that, those 3 are actually really good run stoppers, and they both love to pressure quarterbacks, and they're both power rush, and all 3 of them are all power rushers. And I think that is a perfect thing for the Giants. You want the defense to be able to pressure a lot, depending on the defensive players that you have. They don't have Janoris Jenkins anymore, which I think was a good job by the Giants GM. Just to get rid of someone. Like, even though he's not like that big of a contract player, I still would just get rid of him, but that's them. But if I'm Jadeveon, I'm signing with the Giants. I don't really see the Jets being that big playoff team yet. I just don't see it. I really don't. They're getting rid of Le'Veon. Their coach Adam Gase is just he's very different. He's not one of the best coaches in the league, and I think they did a terrible job at looking for a coach, and they saw Adam Gase, and they're like, yes, dude, get him in the coaching position now, like ASAP. That was a terrible decision. Jets, you guys need to be better than that. Like, what are you guys thinking? And then you also have, so at number 9, Shaq Barrett. He just got franchise tagged. Every time I say franchise, just it's a franchise tag, whatever. Anthony Harris franchised. Justin Simmons franchised. I'm going in order here, by the way. So Justin Simmons was number 11. Number 12 is Yannick Ngakwe, franchised. Number 13, Eric Armstead, franchise. Oh, 5 years. Excuse me, 5-year, $85 million deal. Bud Dupree gets franchised. Derrick Henry. That was so obvious. Everyone knew Derrick Henry was gonna get franchise tagged. Like, what? And honestly, I think they should have gave him the 4-year, $118 million deal. Like, what? Wait, was it a $118 million deal? I think it was. Yeah, 4-year, $118 million deal. What were the Titans thinking? Dude, if I'm the Titans, I'm signing Derrick Henry to the 4-year, $118 million deal. And then on top of that, I'm going to franchise tag Ryan Tannehill. What were they thinking? Oh, I don't know. I was so confused when I woke up this morning and saw that. Anyways, tight end Austin Hooper, number 16. Yeah, Browns, that was a good signing by the Browns, to be honest. They didn't, David Njoku is not going to do the job. He's not going to finish the job for them, so I think that was a pretty good pickup in my decision. Number 17, James Bradbury. Yeah, he went to the Giants. Good pickup for the Giants as well. As I said earlier, they need cornerback desperately, and I think that was a very good pickup for them. So pretty smart by them. Number 18, Hunter Henry. Yep, he got franchise tagged. 19. Okay, this is the one I wanted to talk about. Ndamukong Suh. This is the toughest one I've seen all day, because I don't really know where he should go. To be honest, Ndamukong is, I don't know. He's getting older. He's decent. He's not a big playmaker. He's decent. I think he did get a touchdown this year though. Last season, I think he got a touchdown last season though. So I mean, he could be shutting me the hell up right now. So, but I think Ndamukong is very I think he's good in a way, but I just don't see him. Actually, you know what? Screw that. I think if I'm the Buccaneers, I'm re-signing him. Because I think Ndamukong can be a big playmaker if you just put him in the right spot and you put him in an area around like good players. Like, I know they signed Jason Pierre-Paul and they just re-signed Shaq Barrett, which means that pressure is coming back again. So I think that was a very good job of the Buccaneers office to franchise tag Shaquille and then re-sign Jason Pierre. That was a very good idea. So along with that decision, I say that if I'm the Buccaneers, I'm re-signing Suh. I'm re-signing him. I don't care. I would re-sign him. I'm not gonna give him a big contract though. I'm just gonna re-sign him. And if he doesn't want that, all right, adios then, dude. Peace out, bro. And then number 20, Phillip Rivers. Whew. I don't know, cause for him, we obviously all know Chargers got rid of him. So he's not going back there, obviously, with Hunter and everyone else. But Phillip Rivers is on a different level, man. It feels weird to see him on the free agent market, because you think the Chargers, they want a franchise veteran quarterback that they've had for I think the last 12 seasons. Or like 20 seasons, I don't even remember. It's not like they were all good seasons. No offense, just saying. They never made it to the Super Bowl, so I don't know. It's just it's weird, But the only team I can really see him going to is the Indianapolis Colts. I don't see Jacoby returning as a starter, and I don't think anybody else does. I think Jacoby he was put in at the starting position at the weirdest time. You know, Andrew Luck just automatically just leaves, and Jacoby's like, oh well, I'm here. Oh hey guys, what's up? Remember when I was a starter for you guys a long time ago, and I absolutely almost destroyed this franchise? Yeah, hey. I'm here again. I'm ready to be a starter. And everyone in the Colts stadium is just like, oh my God, we're so screwed. So I can definitely relate like why people don't want Jacoby being a starter again. And poor Jacoby, man. Like, he's played for his heart out, for so long. And I think, given the right team and the right position and the right starting time, he could definitely bruise up some teams, and some defenses. So I think if he ever does get released, and he will, sadly enough, I think someone definitely goes out there and signs him as a starter, just to see what he can do for one more year. And if he can't prove himself again for one more year, then everyone knows that he's not a starter for sure. So, because remember, he was a starter. He was a backup quarterback for Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo a couple years ago when Tom and Jimmy both got hurt. And he came out and he played very well. He still led the team to a couple wins, but it wasn't as satisfying as everyone wanted it to be. Then the Colts are like, hey man, Andrew's getting hurt a lot. We kind of need you, bro. And Jacoby's like, okay, bet I'll be over there soon. And I'll start the game. He started and it didn't end as well. And then a couple seasons later, which was last season, Jacoby plays starter and he didn't do all that good. So. Just got to give him a little bit more chances, I guess. So yeah, if I'm Phillip Rivers, I'm signing with the Colts. So number 21, AJ Green, he got franchise tag, which was surprising to me. But Joe Burrow did say that he wanted AJ Green on the Bengals, and Bengals like, okay, yes, Joe, okay, we'll keep him, I promise. We won't release him. Please don't leave us. Please don't. We need you, dude, like big time. And Joe's like, yeah, franchise is in my hands. It's over. Dude, I'm controlling this whole roster. I'm about to be Tom Brady up in this piece. But, it's whatever, man. I think AJ, he's very injury prone, man. If this franchise tag doesn't work out this season, he's gone. Sadly enough. I hate to say it, but he's gone. But next one is number 23, Brandon Sheriff. He got franchise tagged. I think that was not surprising. I think that was pretty predictable, to be honest, because if I'm the Redskins, I want to get rid of Brandon Sheriff either. He's a very good offensive lineman. So coming in at number 24, Ryan Tannehill, 4-year. Yeah, we already know, 4-year contract. Number 25, DJ Reader. Denver Broncos. That's all I can really say. I don't see him with any other team. I see him with going to the Denver Broncos, and plus they like DJ Reader a lot, so I don't really see him signing anywhere else, to be honest. Joe Thuney, number 26. Yeah, he got tagged. 27, Matthew Judon. That was a good franchise tag by the Ravens. Very smart. Okay, these next three are going to be interesting. Number 28. Robbie Anderson. That is definitely interesting because, logically speaking, Robbie Anderson is a very quick and smart wide receiver. He runs routes very well. He's very athletic. And no offense to the Jets fans, if, whatever, but you guys would be stupid to not re-sign Robbie Anderson. This guy can play some football. Like, I would re-sign him in a heartbeat, and I don't think I'd probably sign him for like a 3-year deal. 3-year deal, maybe $20 million. He's very good. He's a very smart wide receiver. He's very quick too. He burns people all the time. He burnt the Cowboys secondary last season. I don't remember what week it is, but I remember watching the play, and he just burnt every single cornerback and safety that the Cowboys had to offer. But if I'm Robbie Anderson and I can't sign with the Cowboys, I'm going to sign with the Broncos, or I'm going to probably sign with the Raiders, to be honest. The Broncos or the Raiders. Because now you have Marcus Mariota on the Raiders, and, that's probably going to be one of the biggest teams right now, Raiders, everyone's like, oh my God, they found a new location. Let's go for over there. Maybe let's see what happens. Or, if that doesn't work out, my third option, if they would want to, I doubt that the Chiefs would want another wide receiver. But if they want to add another crazy wide receiver, if they sign Robbie Anderson, they're definitely going to have one of the top offenses in the league. So, but number 29, Jameis Winston. If I'm Jameis, I'm gonna sign with the Chargers. If it depends on if they want me, Jameis or Tom Brady, but it kind of depends on where Tom Brady goes. Because for the quarterback market right now, everyone's kind of just going out on a limb and saying, okay, I want this quarterback and I want this quarterback. Take for example the Raiders. They're like, okay, we know Tom Brady wants a big contract, but who can we sign to our team who doesn't want that big of a contract? Okay, Marcus Mariota. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Maybe he won't have that much as a contract. And by the way, no one has found out how much Marcus Mariota really got. I think it was I really don't know. So I don't want to estimate or anything because I don't want to be wrong. And then someone says something to me and is like, hey, by the way, Marcus Mariota actually made this much and was signed to this amount of years. And I don't want to hear all that, so I'm just not going to assume. So if I'm Jameis, I'm signing with the Chargers. No offense, but Jameis is in such an awkward position right now because his team might want to sign Tom Brady. And then the other team, Los Angeles Chargers, they might want to sign Tom Brady, but they also might possibly want to sign Jameis. He is in such an awkward position. It's like Tom Brady is casting a shadow over his head and saying, hey, Jameis, I know you want to sign with a new team or you want to stay with your old team, but I'm still here, I might be 42, but I could still somewhat play. And Jameis is just like, damn it, dude, I can't get that big contract yet. Or small contract. Depends on who wants to pay him a certain amount of money. But he's just kind of stuck, He's like one of the only top quarterbacks that are kind of, just sitting there waiting like, hey, can I sign with a team yet? Because we all know the Colts are going to want Phillip. Or draft a quarterback and then sign Phillip. And James just kind of like, oh God, what do I do? Because the Bucs might not even want him. They haven't said anything about negotiations or nothing. So James just kind of sitting there. He's like, oh, well, I guess I have to wait for this old guy to freaking sign with a team. So I think he's just kind of in a midst of a bad place right now. And I think given the opportunity, I think he could actually become a good player, So, even though the 30 interceptions kind of overshadows everything, this dude did lead the league in passing yards and in touchdowns. Well, not in touchdowns, but in passing yards. And then he did throw 30 touchdowns. So, I don't know, man. He's kind of off and off. And he had eye surgery, so maybe that improves his game. I don't know, dude. I really don't know at this point. Jameis, man. Jameis, what are you doing? Jameis. My God. James is kind of like sitting there, hey guys, I got eye surgery. Hey, do you guys want to sign me now? But it's whatever. Okay, number 30 is Teddy Bridgewater. We all know he's gonna sign with the Bears. If he doesn't sign with the Bears, and he's gonna sign with the Patriots. But so that's kind of already off the table. He's in contract negotiations with the Bears. And that was like 10 hours ago that someone reported that, and no one has heard anything from that since. So I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater's still just kind of like thinking about the deal and is like, maybe should I go for this or should I not go for this? And I think he's just kind of just thinking it over before he actually does put the pen on paper and signs it. So I think for him it's just kind of a weird position because, he wants to sign with the team. He's like, okay, I want to sign with the Bears. And then the Bears are like, okay, here's this contract. Okay, I'll look it over. Looks it over and is like, ooh, should I do it? Should I not do it? Or should I just, look for another team, or do something else? Like, Teddy Bridgewater is just in an awkward position because, the Bears don't want Mitchell anymore. They don't want Mitchell Trubisky anymore. And I can totally see why. He's not that good. And I think everybody else can see it. And by the way, I want to let everybody know, last season, this dude made the Pro Bowl. What? Who let this happen? I'm sorry, Mitch, if someone tells Mitch about this or whatever and this does get a certain amount of views and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, dude, but who let Trubisky in the Pro Bowl? Like, and who did it and why? Like, that person needs to just be looked at and like, hey, dude, are you okay, man? Like, are you seeing things? Are you gonna have to go have eye surgery like Jameis did? Like, dude, you need to get something checked, bro. And I don't know, whoever the fans were that voted for him to be in the Pro Bowl, it was probably because their defense did so good. It made him seem good, you know? And a lot of defenses do that too. You know, they make players look good, and then like they come in and they're like, hey, I'm going to throw like a lot of interceptions. And not Jameis, because the Buccaneers defense was decent, you know, wasn't that good, but Jameis was just bad in general, you know. So, but the quarterback is just sitting there like, hey guys, what's up, you know, like I'm really good. Sign me for a multi-million-dollar deal contract. And then the team's like, okay, bet. Signs him. Nope, terrible. He's done. Miserable. Get him out of here. Throw him out. But yeah. Alright, on to the next one. Number 31, Logan Ryan. How has Logan Ryan not been signed yet? Can someone explain to me how Logan Ryan hasn't been signed yet? I don't get this. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. Because Logan Ryan, in my opinion, is right behind Byron Jones in being a great cornerback. This dude is insane. He was probably one of the top cornerbacks behind Byron Jones this year. And I don't care. Someone can debate with me. I don't really care what you say. Logan Ryan was one of the top cornerbacks, and I'm saying this right here, right now. He's better than Chris Harris Jr., and I promise you that. You look at his stats, and you look at how he plays. This dude has the best focus ever. He doesn't care about contracts or nothing. This dude just wants to play. He wants to play on a team. Someone sign him. This dude, if he doesn't get signed by tomorrow, I'm gonna be the most confused person on this planet. Logan Ryan should be top 15 free agency person right now. Like, top 3 agent right now. Logan Ryan should be looked at like, oh my god, this guy has the best playmaking ability. I'm signing him to my team. Take my money and shut up. Play for me right now. Logan Ryan's like, dude, you don't have to tell me anything. I'll sign that deal right now. Logan Ryan is one of the top cornerbacks in the league right now, and I don't know how anybody can view past that. I don't know how anybody can look at Logan Ryan and say, you know what, this guy's done really good. Okay, you know, I'm not going to sign him. Who cares? I'm going to sign freaking Chris Harris or Kendall Fuller. If I'm the Redskins, I would have signed Logan Ryan. I'm sorry. I really would have. Because Kendall Fuller just got signed by the Redskins, and I'm just kind of sitting there like at the edge of my chair. I'm like, okay, Logan Ryan's definitely going to get signed now. Like Kendall Fuller got signed. No offense to Kendall. He's actually a really good player. But, like, if I'm Logan, I'm, like, sitting there. I'm like, okay. Because I think it was about 2 hours ago. It was, like, 7 o'clock. And I'm sitting in my chair. I'm like, okay. You know, Byron Jones just got signed. Kendall Fuller just got signed. So be it. You know, that means Logan Ryan has to be up next. There's no way no one signs this guy. Like, someone has to sign this dude right now. This has to be a joke. What time is it right now? 10 o'clock. Still hasn't been signed. What is happening? Why? Why aren't people looking at Logan Ryan like, okay, yeah, this dude should be signed ASAP? The Broncos are definitely a lookout for him. And the Eagles, if I'm the Eagles, I'm looking at Logan Ryan as well. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm looking at him as well because they just got rid of Kendall Fuller. You know, they do need a new cornerback. And if I'm looking for a new cornerback to match up with Rashad Breeland, I'm signing Logan Ryan. And if I'm the Broncos, I'm signing Logan Ryan so he can team up with Bryce Callahan and Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons. I think that's the best idea, you know. So on to number 32 is Jack Conklin. We all know he signed with the Browns today. He went from the Titans to the Browns, which, by the way, the Browns did a good job by signing Jack Conklin. They need offensive linemen. Number 33, Melvin Gordon. Whoo! Melvin Gordon. He went down in stock today. Big time. This dude was supposed to be signed probably really early by, like, today. Everyone was looking at Melvin like, okay, yeah, this dude's definitely going to get signed today. That didn't happen. This dude didn't even get a call, I think, or a negotiation. Everyone for him, like, everyone was getting signed. Everyone just kind of, like, didn't even look at Melvin Gordon. Like, they didn't even look at his name like, where's this guy at? Like, everyone was so focused on who's getting signed. Everyone was just kind of like, who's Melvin Gordon? And Melvin's like, hey, I'm still here. I don't have a contract. Who wants to sign me? Like, dude, are you kidding me? How has no one signed me yet? And I can totally understand if Melvin Gordon was thinking that. But, like, I don't know, man. I would have just... Because we all know that the Falcons, they just got rid of Devontae. You know, they're going to be looking for a new running back. But also, if I'm the Texans, you know, Lamar Miller's hitting free agency, and so is Carlos Hyde. Here comes Melvin Gordon. Like, hey, you know, I'm still here. Even though the Texans did, you know, get David Johnson, I just don't see David Johnson being back to his full form. I really don't. I'm sorry, but I just don't see him being that big playmaker that everyone used to see him as. Because he's not. You know, he's not the 2016 David Johnson with like 14 touchdowns and just straight up killing it. He's not that anymore. I'm sorry. He's just, I don't see him doing that anymore. But you know what? Or maybe he can prove us wrong. You know, and I think they could possibly prove us wrong. So you never know. David Johnson could probably just bust out with like 14 touchdowns again. You know, like he did in 2016. But you know, oh, the Lions have agreed to a 2-year, $10 million. No, what? 2-year, $10 million deal with Nick Williams. Oh, I didn't even see that. I didn't even see Nick Williams got signed. My bad. Damn, I just now saw that. That was 2 hours ago. What the heck? When? Okay, I guess I'm just screwing up now. I totally didn't see that. All right, who else? I was trying to look for something that I saw earlier, and now I can't find it. I literally just saw it, like, I think probably an hour ago. And it was actually really smart. Was it? Who am I thinking of? Where's it at? I'm struggling to find it. What the heck, dude? I can't find it. Hold on. Let me go on it here and then look for it. Cause I know I saw it earlier, and it was something. It had something to do with Melvin Gordon. And I was like, yeah, that's actually a really good point. No, it wasn't something about it being a point. It was just something about it was just about it showing like who might sign who next. Oh, it was right here. Okay, so it said Melvin Gordon might get signed by the Falcons, Dolphins, or the Bucks. It wasn't the Texans. Excuse me. So plus they traded for David Johnson, so that makes sense. The Falcons, I could totally see why they got rid of Devontae. So I could definitely see why they would get rid of Devontae and then bring in Melvin, because Melvin is very good. You know, he did play very well with the Chargers, I think. So yeah, I think if I'm the Falcons, I would sign Melvin, especially since all you have is Brian Hill and, you know, just back there just chilling. So, and then the Dolphins, yeah, I could most definitely see Melvin Gordon with the Dolphins jersey. Only because, you know, they don't have running backs. They really don't. If I really think about it in my head right now, the only running back that I could name was probably Mark Wallen, and he's not even on there anymore because he had a misdemeanor charge for, I think, abuse or something like that. But who's the other running back that played? I think it was Patrick Laird or something like that. They tried him out. And then Kalen Ballage. That was the guy I was thinking of. Kalen Ballage. That's really all they have. Unless they want to draft the running back, I could definitely see that. But yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, I can definitely see him going with the Dolphins. Excuse me. Hold on, I need to do something. Excuse me, I had to shut my door. But I can definitely see why the Dolphins would sign Melvin Gordon. And then also the Buccaneers. They don't have really any running backs. All they have is Ronald Jones and Payne Barber. And yeah, if I'm out of those three teams, if I'm Melvin Gordon, I want to sign with the Dolphins. Depending if the Dolphins want to spend any more money, I don't even think they can anymore. So, but if I'm Melvin Gordon, if the Dolphins are off the table, then I'm signing with the Falcons. They definitely have more potential than the Buccaneers right now, because the Buccaneers haven't really signed anybody new. You know, they don't need wide receivers. They could use a tight end. They could use a tight end because O.J. Howard isn't that good. So, okay, who's next? Javon Hargrave, number 34. He got signed by the Eagles. Eagles gave him a pretty big contract, $39 million for 3 years. I think that's I don't know. I think they kind of overpaid him, in a way. Robert Quinn is another person that hasn't been signed yet, surprisingly. I think the Miami Dolphins, I thought they were going to sign Robert Quinn. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm re-signing Robert Quinn, though, because Robert Quinn is actually, he did really good again with the Cowboys. So, and if they want to rebuild that defensive lineman again, that defensive line, I'm most definitely re-signing Robert Quinn, because he was definitely a big part of that defensive line. So, number 36, Dante Fowler. Dante Fowler is tough to put in, because logically speaking, there's not a whole lot of teams that are looking for a linebacker right now. I mean, if the Rams want to re-sign Dante, I could definitely see that. But this is a different team, but if I am the Denver Broncos, I'm definitely looking at Dante Fowler to definitely be a big part of my team. And the reason why I say that is because the Denver Broncos need that linebacker. They need, do they need a linebacker? Oh, I don't know. Because, I mean, they have A.J. Johnson, who's a middle linebacker, and then they also have Todd Davis, who's also a middle linebacker. Then we have Von Miller's an edge rusher, though, and then so is Bradley Chubb. So how would that fit in? I don't really know, to be honest. It's a very awkward position, but because I think I've seen Dante Fowler playing linebacker before, but I think he's also a defensive end. So which means he'd probably be an edge rusher, probably. Oh, nah, I think he'd be on the defensive line. So if they do put him on the defensive line, I would definitely sign him, and then sign DJ Reader as well. Because then you have, well, actually, no. The Denver Broncos got rid of all their defensive linemen. Shelby Harris is walking, Derek Wolfe is walking, and Adam Gotsis is walking. All they really have is, and this isn't defensive linemen, I just mean in that certain area where linebackers and edge rushers and defensive linemen are at, all they really have in that area is, let's see, they have Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, Jose Jewell, A.J. Johnson, and Todd Davis. That is literally, and I think Jose Jewell is like a backup. So, honestly, in my opinion, I think they signed Dante Fowler to get that defensive line stronger, and then they also signed, it just depends on how many defensive linemen they want to play with up front, you know? Like right on the offensive line to go against, so it's just however they want to put it. Number 37, Brian Bulaga. That's I don't know. It's kind of tough because a lot of people need offensive linemen, and a lot of people do. And if I'm speaking truthful here, if I'm the Giants, I'm signing Brian Bulaga. The reason why I say that is because you want that offensive line for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had 10 fumbles this year, and he got sacked a lot. So I would sign Brian Bulaga if I'm the Giants, you know. And number 38 is Leonard Williams. And the reason why I'm bringing up Leonard Williams as well is because he's a defensive line, but they franchise tagged him, which means that they haven't wasted any money yet. They haven't given Leonard Williams a big contract yet. They've only franchise tagged him, which means he's up for negotiation with not with other teams, but with the Giants. So they can give him a pretty big contract, or they can give him a small contract, which means if they give him a small contract, they have more room to give other players money. So honestly, if I'm the Giants, with the franchise tag with Leonard Williams, I'm signing Brian Bulaga for the offensive line so Daniel Jones doesn't fumble anymore. Jimmy Ward, number 39, he just got re-signed just now. So that was a pretty smart decision by the 49ers, so he doesn't just leave, Anthony Costanzo, a 2-year, $33 million deal, re-signing with the Colts. Kyle Van Noy with the Dolphins for 4 years for $51 million. That was actually probably really surprising. I didn't think they were going to give him $50 million. I thought they were going to be like $38 million or like $45 million. I didn't think they were going to give him $51 million, especially for 4 years. That's pretty insane. But Kyle Van Noy can definitely play some football, so I can definitely see where they're coming from. But number 42, Blake Martinez, he just got signed by the Giants. I think it was, let me see here, because I reported it on my news account, 3 years for $30 million. So, yeah, that was a pretty good sign by the Giants. Yeah, that was pretty smart, to be honest, just to build up that defense a little bit more. And they signed James Bradbury. That's right, they signed James Bradbury earlier. Which, speaking of, again, Logan Ryan. Why has he not been signed yet? That's insane. Joe Schobert, number 43. That's, I don't know, because the Denver Broncos were also talking about signing him, and then you also have other teams that possibly want to sign him as well. If I was the Packers, I would have signed him over Christian Kirksey, depending on where Joe Schobert wanted to land. But I think Christian Kirksey is a linebacker or edge rusher, so I could definitely see why they didn't sign Joe Schobert. But if I was the Packers, though, you don't have Clay Matthews anymore, especially since they got rid of him so long ago. They do need that little middle linebacker, so. If I was the Packers, I would have signed Joe Schobert. But if I'm Joe Schobert, I'm signing with the Broncos. The Broncos aren't going to sign everyone, though, so I need to stop saying the Broncos so much. But I'm just saying possible landing spots. I'm not saying these people are going to sign with the Broncos, so I'm not trying to make it sound like that. But I'm just saying possible landing spots. But if I'm Joe Schobert, I'm going to sign, depending if the Dolphins want to spend as much money as possible. It just kind of depends, but who knows? Joe Schobert probably gonna sign. Who could use a middle linebacker? The Giants could definitely use a middle linebacker. They could definitely use a middle linebacker because the Giants, they don't have a whole lot of defensive players. They did sign a lot of a whole lot of defensive players today, but it wasn't a middle linebacker in any of those cases, but I can't forget all the other teams either. I need to stop just focusing on the same teams over and over again. But the same teams that keep going over and over again are just the teams that are that want the most players, want the best players and who have the most money, just to re-sign players. Kendall Fuller re-signed with the Redskins. Number 45 is Trey Waynes. See, now Trey Waynes is also in a weird position because there's a lot of other good cornerbacks that are with him still. And all these other cornerbacks in the league are getting big contracts. And Trey Waynes is just kind of sitting there like, hey, I'm kind of underrated as well. Can someone sign me, please? I think Trey Waynes is definitely underrated in this area because Trey Waynes, I think, is a pretty good playmaker. And he's not like one of the top best players, but I think he's definitely one of the good players out there, underrated. Like someone doesn't really say his name as much. So I think the who could use a cornerback? Buccaneers. Buccaneers could use Trey Waynes. That would be actually so perfect. They don't have a lot of good cornerbacks. They still have Brent Grimes just chilling there. If I'm the Buccaneers, I'm signing Trey Waynes. Trey Waynes goes to the Bucs. That would be so perfect. I could so see that. So we're only gonna go to 50 because this is already an hour-long episode. I could go through all 101, but that would probably be a while. But after the 50th, I will definitely go over who's been signed and who are the biggest players that could possibly get signed next. 46 is DJ Humphries. He got signed. 3-year, $45 million deal. Cardinals. 47 is Andrew Whitworth. I don't know. Andrew Whitworth is getting kind of older as well. If I'm him, I'm just gonna retire. To be honest, I just don't see Andrew Whitworth, being one of the biggest people in free agency right now, especially since he's older. And I just don't think he's gonna get a big contract unless if someone wants to give him. So I can't really predict where he wants to go or who's gonna sign him because he's getting older now. I just don't think I just don't see him going anywhere else. I've always seen him with the Rams or the Bengals, and for him, since he's getting older, I just don't see him going a whole lot of places. So I can't really predict where he's going. Number 48, Rashad Perryman. See, now there's a lot of teams that need wide receivers right now, and I understand them. Everyone's so tired of hearing the Denver Broncos, but Rashad Perryman is definitely one of the under-the-radar free agents right now. Denver Broncos could use him. The Giants could definitely use him. Bengals could use him. The Redskins could definitely use a wide receiver. They don't have a whole lot. They got rid of Paul Richardson. They don't have Josh Doxson and plus he wasn't even that good in the beginning anyways. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of receivers besides Terry McLaurin. He's very good, by the way. Scary Terry is very good, so definitely pair him up with Rashad. Who else? Number 49, Devin McCourty. 2-year. Yeah, he got re-signed by the Patriots, so that was a very good pickup by the Patriots, by the way. Number 50, Emmanuel Sanders. So, this is where things get weird because Emmanuel hasn't heard anything from the 49ers yet. No negotiations. No talks about being signed by them or anything. It's been silent for Emmanuel this entire time. And I think people are just looking at other people, like other wide receivers. There hasn't been, I think there's only, it was just Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb, and Stephon Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins. Those are the only 4 wide receivers that have been in talks with other teams, and who've been signed with other teams. That's pretty much all that's all that's happened today with wide receivers today. So, I think with that, Emmanuel Sanders definitely goes with a big name team. I just don't see him being with the 49ers. Or, I could be wrong. 49ers could be like, yo, Emmanuel, you did, and he did. He did outstanding with the 49ers. He did amazing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they re-sign him. But if they don't, I could definitely see him going to the Redskins or the Jets. The Jets would be a perfect fit for Emmanuel, to be honest. I don't see him doing good with the other coach because the coach is very selfless over there. And, selfish, excuse me. Selfless is just, not worrying about yourself as much. But selfish, Adam Gase is very selfish, and I don't think Emmanuel likes selfish coaches. I don't think any player does. So I just don't think him and that head coach would click a lot. And him and Sam Darnold, no, excuse me. What did I? Yeah, I said Jets, right? So Sam Darnold and him, I don't know. Sam Darnold, he's just kind of iffy. He's not franchise material, in my opinion. I don't see the Jets having him for years to come, So, but if Emmanuel were to go to the Jets, I could definitely see that. If he stays with the 49ers, I can see that too. I can see him going anywhere, especially the Patriots. The Patriots need a wide receiver as well, So, and plus, all the Jets really have is Demaryius Thomas and Jamison Crowder right now. Those are the only top names I can really think of. And Quincy Enunwa. Wait, no, Quincy Enunwa got released, I thought. Yeah, he did. But that's pretty much it for top 50. Let's see the big names that I could think of. Oh, Jamie Collins just got re-signed. Didn't get re-signed. He got signed by the Detroit Lions. He's back with Matt Patricia. Clinton Dix. I don't really see him going to a big name team. I could definitely see him going with the Buccaneers. So, and I can see him going the Patriots depending on what they want to do. I think, didn't Jason McCourty get re-signed? Or am I tripping? Yeah, I am tripping because Jason McCourty never got re-signed. No, I think Jason McCourty is already in contract with the Patriots. So sorry. But Clinton Dix, I can definitely see him with a whole lot of other teams. If I'm the Jets, I'm definitely looking at Haha Clan Dix as well. You know, just to team up with Jamal Adams. That would be pretty cool. Jerron Reed got re-signed by the Seahawks. Demarius Randall, he's going to be kind of in an awkward position as well because Demarius Randall is a very good cornerback, but he's in a position, a cornerback position where there's a lot of other free agents that are good out there, like Logan Ryan, and you still have Tremaine Johnson, who's not that good, but he's still decent enough to get a contract. Who else is out there still? Trey Waynes, we already talked about that. Honestly, I think I seen Trey Waynes kind of re-signing with the Vikings, but I don't know. It's just he's in a weird position too. Kenyon Drake got transition tagged, which means he's probably gonna end up getting traded depending on what the Cardinals want to do with him. Vic Beasley is number 80. Vic Beasley's, I don't know. Vic Beasley, he's off and on from time to time, but I think I definitely see him signing a contract sooner or later. I think a decently sized contract. Who else? Oh, you know what I want to talk about? I really, really, really want to talk about Sean Lee. This is the last one I'm going to talk about. Sean Lee is not that good, but he's also decent. Because honestly, in my opinion, I just don't see him being like a top linebacker in free agency right now. I see him as being one of the like the older veteran type of free agent right now. Like, not a whole lot of people want him, but they want him just to like coach other players, and or just to see what he can do. He's a very good tackler. He can play very good football. But I think that one year he got hurt and Leighton Vander Esch came in. Leighton Vander Esch just made Sean Lee look like a old dude, and everyone's like, "Wow, who's this Leighton dude?" Like, bro, this guy is very good. And like, who's Sean Lee? Who's that? Who's Sean Lee? What? Oh, Sean Lee's a Cowboy? Oh, yeah, I had never heard that guy before. Like, Leighton Vander Esch kind of just came in. I think Sean Lee just needs to sign because the Cowboys already released him. Sean Lee needs to be on a linebacker team, like, where, like, no linebackers have been signed there. It's very quiet for linebacking positions. Like, Giants, with Sean Lee can just go there and blow it up because there's not a whole lot of other linebackers that can kind of be there with him and kind of compete with him. So I think that would be perfect for him. Who else? Patriots, they got rid of Kyle Van Noy. So with Sean Lee going there, I think Sean Lee could definitely blow it up as well since Patriots are a big name team. Who else? Let's see. Ooh, Falcons. Falcons could use a linebacker. They got rid of Devondre Campbell, so him and Deion Jones could blow it up probably. But it depends on if Deion Jones just kind of overshadows Sean. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. That was an hour 13-minute pretty much an hour episode. That was pretty long episode. It didn't even feel like it. It felt like a 10-minute episode, but apparently it was longer. So honestly, in my opinion, those are like my top free agent people. I don't see a whole lot of other players going in different directions, So, but I will possibly on my Instagram account, if anybody doesn't know it yet, it's XNN News. It stands for XFL football. Well, it's XFL, NFL, and then NBA. That's what the X stands for, and what the N stands for, and what the N stands for. So, that's pretty much it for today. I talked about what I wanted to talk about, and I got a lot of things off my chest. Hopefully some other people can see this. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, and comment, and share my account if you feel like it. So if you see my Instagram account, go like my post, okay? And follow me on Instagram, alright? So I'll see you guys later. Peace out.